Hello and welcome to our webinar. My name is Andrej Lapajne. I'm the CEO at Zebra BI, and in today's webinar I'll explain how to design income statements in Excel. This time we'll have a hands-on, more practical training in Excel with the help of Zebra BI add-in. We'll show the most efficient ways of visualizing income statements or profit and loss calculations, and we'll create some of the most useful report templates that will ensure that your income statements are as understandable as possible and also actionable. So this is the first report template that we'll create today. It's the classic income statement or a profit and loss report that is compliant with the IBCS standards, so International Business Communication Standards, and was initially developed by Dr. Rolf Hichert. As you see, it shows the structure of the income statement. So we have some certain revenues, so revenue from licenses and consulting, maintenance, and so on. So this is a software company that we are talking about here. And so we have the sales revenue, then we have some other operating income, and now we have expenses, costs that are subtracted from the revenue, so they go into other direction. And here we have a special element. So it's actually the operating expenses. So basically it's the sub-calculation, right? It's it's a subtotal of all the expenses here. And when you subtract this, we arrive at the operating profit. So as you see, this is the visualization that shows this calculation of the income statement right down to net profit. And in this particular report, we have the income statement visualized for previous year, and then we have the income statement of this year, but then also we have two variance charts. So the first one shows the absolute variance from previous year, and the second one shows the growth from previous year in percent. So as you see, a profit and loss report or an income statement report has many elements. So it's basically, this one consists mostly of visualizations of graphs or charts, right? So we have two waterfall charts to display the calculation of the income statement, and then we have two variance charts, one for absolute and one for relative variance. But then we also, of course, have a key message. So this is the basic feature of every report. It has to have a message, a key message, right? What's going on, what has happened, and so on. Then we have some title elements here in the row. Then of course we have charts or a table or a combination of tables and charts. And then we also have certain comments which are inserted here. So we have certain comment markers, 1, 2, 3 here, and then down below there's some space, so you can actually write the comments what's going on with the sales revenue here, or you can comment on the positive growth here or the negative growth here, and so on. So these are all now the ingredients of this report. And this is, of course, only one example. We'll do this today in Excel, but this one compares your income statement to previous year. Now you will have different situations. This is just one of them, comparing the income statement to previous year. It's a very frequent scenario, but maybe you will also have different ones. So before we take a look at the other templates, you can also observe that you can actually show the variance also with the waterfall chart. So you can actually use the waterfall chart to display the variance. So in this case, this represents the variance. So we have 183 million euros growth from previous year on the revenue of licenses, and a little bit less on consulting services and maintenance and so on. So you see, you actually see the growth from previous year, the variance from previous year, but also the contribution. How does this particular variance here affect the total sales revenue? And much the same way, you can also assess how a particular variance on costs affects the operating profit and so on. So you can use waterfall charts to display the variance, or as we have seen before, you can just use the plain plus minus chart to display the variance. Okay, this is now the first template that we'll do, but in real life you may have also this situation where you have the data from previous year, and then the data, your actual data from this period, and then also the budget or the plan, or maybe a forecast, right? So you see now we have three so-called business scenarios. So we have three comparisons, and this time, since we don't have so much space compared to this template where we only had two templates, right? We decided to leave the values of the income statement, so the absolute values, here in a table column. So we have three columns for absolute values, but then here the right part of this report shows the variances. In business reporting, the variances are probably the most important element. So that's why if you don't have enough space to visualize all data, right, try to focus on the variances and show the variances, and then leave other data in columns. So as you see, what we have here is actually a table chart combination. So it's basically a table, a spreadsheet in Excel, done in Excel, and then we have four charts, four variance charts, which are embedded completely into this table, right? So we can actually see grid lines behind the chart. So these charts are actually transparent, so they seem completely embedded in this report. So this is a good technique how to create reports in Excel, to combine tables and charts. And now with such a report, you can mix up the order of elements. So in practice, we see a lot of different orders, right? So you might have the actual data first, and then you have the previous year. So this is previous year, right? And then you have the previous year column, and then you have the budget, right? So you might have the actual column on the first place here. But the important thing is that you always do it in the same way, so that you somehow standardize the look and also the order of the elements. So in my case, I always use previous year on the left, then I show the actual, and then I show the budget. And also here, first we have the variance to previous year, and then we have the variance to budget. Okay, now in reports like this, one thing is quite important. So for example, if the variance to previous year is shown as well as the variance to budget, right? These two charts must be scaled. Okay, so they must be rendered in the same scale. So, or in other words, if we take a look at the y-axis here, it has to have the same maximum, right? Only in this way we can actually compare the values, so we can understand that, for example, the growth of revenue from licenses from previous year is much higher than the variance from budget. So we had very good growth from previous year here with this revenue, but we are a little bit less above the budget, which is still a good result as long as it's green, right? Okay, so much the same way, this chart for relative growth is also scaled to this one, which is relative variance to budget, so in percent. Okay, so we see we have actually 26% growth from previous year on this particular type of revenue, whereas we are 3% above the budget, above the plan. Okay, so this is now one possible order of elements. As I have said before, instead of using the plus minus chart to display the variance, you can also use waterfall charts. So this is now very similar like we had before. So we have the waterfall chart here, waterfall chart here. Of course, again, this chart is scaled to this chart, so rendered in the same scale. Now, some people prefer this order of elements. So instead of having the absolute variance and then the relative variance for previous year, and then the budget variance, first the absolute and then relative, some people prefer this. So you can just change the order, so you have the variance to previous year and variance to budget like one next to another. So you can maybe easily compare the variances here, and then at the end here you have the relative variances, and again you can compare it, right? There's another way. So you could, especially with this setting where you have the variance to previous year, you could actually put these two charts here between the columns. So you could have previous year, then these two charts, and then in the middle you would have the actual column, and then you would have the variance to budget, and then at the far right of your report you would have this column, the budget values. So these are all possible options, but this is more or less just order of elements. You can always reorder the columns to fit your needs and to best support your particular message. Okay, so these templates up until now, so this one or this one, they are all showing your income statement for just one entity, right? So this could be your company, or this could be a consolidated result if you're reporting for a group of companies or something. So we only have one business entity, right? In this case, it's a consolidated report for a group of companies. That's why we have group profit here. But of course, then on the next level, you might want to report on several companies. So for example, if you're reporting for a group that consists of several legal entities, or if you have profit centers in your company, or strategic business units and so on, and you're tracking the P&L for a particular so strategic business unit or a profit center or something, you might want to show more business units or more legal entities on the same page, right? So in this case you could use something like this. So now we have a short profit and loss statement here. So it's a little bit shorter, it's a little bit more aggregated and so on, but this allows us to put more business units on the same page. Okay, so you can actually display all your businesses on one page only. This is called the one page only report, where you try to present the whole situation on one page. Okay, so in this case, for example, we have some net sales here, then we have some costs, material costs, employee costs, we arrive at the operating profit, and then when we subtract the interest expense, we arrive at the EBITDA, and so on up until net result. And now what we have here is, this is my actual data. So this could be, for example, for a particular month. Okay, so this is, for example, September 2015. It could be January to September, so it could be the year-to-date value, right? So this is the actual, but here on the right, we also have the variance to budget. So if you have the budget also set for each business unit, then you can do it like this. You present the actual values and the difference to budget, the variance to budget, either with the plus and minus chart or also a small waterfall chart here. And so this is the picture of my first legal entity or my first business unit, and then you have other ones, so France, Great Britain, and so on, right? So this is the way. In this way, you can actually present the picture of your whole business on one single page, on one single report. And the important thing now here, when you create reports like this, is again the scaling, because this only works if you scale properly all the charts. So this chart here is scaled to this chart. So this is 35, this is 56, and we can see that the length of this bar corresponds to the actual ratio of those two numbers, right? So we can understand that, yeah, we are getting most of our net sales from Germany and so on. So, and Spain is our least important market and so on. But not only that those waterfall charts are scaled, actually also the variance is scaled. First of all, this variance is scaled to this chart, so we can understand how much is the variance to budget if we compare this to our actual value, right? So we can somehow estimate that this is probably a bit more than 1/10 of net sales, right? So which is quite good, and so on. So basically what we have here are 5 waterfall charts, and then 5 plus minus variance charts, and everything is scaled. So all 10 charts are completely scaled, rendered in the same scale. Okay, so these are some ideas how you can present your income statements or profit and loss statements, either for your whole company or a group of companies, or broken down by business units. So we will, in the next half an hour, I will try to explain more details and show you how it's done in Excel with the help of Zebra BI add-in. So let me switch to my Excel here. And let's start with the basics. So as you have seen, the key ingredient for all of these reports is actually the waterfall chart. So for example, this is probably the most typical or simplified P&L statement, right? So you have certain revenue, and then you have certain costs here, and then you have the gross profit, and then you have some other operating costs, and when you subtract this, you arrive at the operating profit. So to visualize this, you need a waterfall chart. So in Zebra BI, this is the last one. So of the 5 key business charts, business visualizations. So I'll open the contribution. As you see, in business reporting, you actually have 2 types of waterfall charts. They are a little bit different. Not every waterfall chart looks like this, right, with certain base elements and then red and green. You can actually just have waterfall charts in just one color. So we'll actually use this one. So this one is called the structure, and this one is called the variance. So now I'm just showing the structure of the P&L statement, and here I get it. Okay, so this is now the basics. Net revenue, then the costs are subtracted. Note that now in this particular example, my costs, like for example raw material, they already have a minus. Okay, this is like a very old and old dilemma, right? How you should report on your costs, right? So for example, if you're reporting directly out of SAP system or some other ERP systems, you might have all your costs in the negative form, right? But in actual business reporting, it's probably better to use positive numbers. So you don't say that your raw material costs are minus 215. This is not really intuitive, right? So you have 215 costs, right? So it's actually better to do it to do it in this way. So let me now just change this. I will multiply this by -1 just to get positive numbers here. So we'll let's just multiply this, and we'll also multiply this. Okay, F4 repeats the same. F4 repeats the last action in Excel. So okay, now we have a positive number here, but of course my calculation here is now wrong, because of course the costs, even though we had 215, they should lower the net revenue. Okay, so what do you do in Zebra BI? Here in the first column, okay, so this column in Zebra BI, this column is really important. You see that it's straightforward to insert any type of waterfall chart, right? You just do it in one click. But what you need to do is you need to tell Zebra BI what kind of element is in each row. So for example, the results like the net revenue or gross profit, which is a result of calculation, or the operating profit, they need you need to put equal sign before such a column. So each column that has an equal sign is actually a fixed column, so it's a result of a calculation or a result of a sub-calculation. Okay, so without this equal sign, if I delete this, okay, these elements would just be stacked one on top of another. So the first important thing is the equal sign. Okay, so that's the first element. And then the second option is if you want to invert elements like costs, what you do is you type the minus here. Okay, so this is now the solution where you have where you actually have a positive number, but then you invert the meaning of this particular element in this row. So now we have raw material, it goes into minus. The same with direct labor and freight and cartage. Okay, these are all all costs, so they are subtracting here. Of course, now I have to correct my formula. It's no longer plus, but it's actually net revenue minus sum of all the costs. So also this formula is now more, I would say, more meaningful, right? And of course, we have to do the same for other elements. And the operating profit, it's now minus. Okay. So this is the basics. This is your waterfall chart that shows the structure of this calculation. Okay, now I can delete this. Okay, now the next step could be to show the for example the subtotal of those costs. So raw material plus direct labor plus freight and cartage, these are my costs of goods sold. Okay, so let me first put this chart. I will just align this chart. So I will use this, so the third icon here on any Zebra BI chart in Excel is allows you to move the chart. So I'll just click here and I'll just align this chart. Let me just put it, yeah, here. Oh, sorry, actually it's one line because of the title. Okay, like this. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to calculate the costs of goods sold here. So I need another row here. I'll insert a row, and now we'll have the costs of goods sold. Okay, and this is now a sum of my costs. Okay, so now I added this sub calculation, right? And now you have it in a waterfall chart. Okay, so these are my costs. This is now the cost of goods sold. Only this is now actually the cost of goods sold. This is also costs, right? So they should go into minus, right? But not like this, right? Because actually the cost of goods sold should be subtracted from net revenue. So they should be aligned with the net revenue and then go into this direction here and end here at the same, it should be aligned then with gross profit, right? So how to do that in Zebra BI. So this is now a special type of calculation. So it's a sub-calculation within the waterfall chart. So what you need to do here is you need to specify that COGS, cost of goods sold, will be subtracted from net revenue. And you do that by specifying, by typing -4 here. Okay, 4 meaning COGS will be subtracted from the element which is 4 rows above this row, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, net revenue. It's 4 rows, so that's why -4. And now you see net revenue, COGS are subtracted, and this is my gross profit. Much the same way you could add a subtotal of those rows here, like this is probably the OPEX, right? The operating expenses. Let's just put it like this. So this is now my OPEX, my operating expenses, and okay, so this is now my subtotal. Again, we have minus, and we have to subtract this from gross profit. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows above. So it's -5. Okay, so the difference, as you see in a waterfall chart, in a good waterfall chart also handles the labels. Some people put the labels in waterfall chart in the middle of a column, but that usually leads to problems, because then you have a label here, and then maybe you have a small bar like here, and then the label will overlap, will be displayed over the bar. You will not see the value of the bar, and then there's there are problem if the bar is very dark and you're using dark labels and so on. So you have problems like that. That's why for example in Zebra BI we put all labels outside of columns if this is possible. And there's another rule, right? If this is like a positive KPI, like revenues and so on, then the label is always on the right. Okay, so it somehow additionally indicates the direction of this KPI. So net revenues, they go here on the right. That's why the label is on the right. Whereas here the raw material goes to the left, right? And then that's why the label is also on the left side. So it's not on the right, but it's on the left. Okay, so this is now also with my COGS, it's also on the left because it is subtracting. Okay, so this is now my basic structure. Okay, basic structure of the income statement or P&L statement, P&L analysis. But so far, this is only my actual numbers. Okay, this could be now the report for, I don't know, September. Let's make it May. Okay, May is not finished, but April 2015. Okay, so this is my actual numbers. Now, if I want to compare this to, for example, the same period in the previous year or to my budget, then we can do it like this. So this is my example now. Now I have the actual numbers, so my actual period, and now my period in the same period on previous year. Okay, so now you need two waterfall charts. Okay, I already have the calculation here. This is called the category class column, right? So as we have seen, the equal sign and all the other elements. Okay, now if you do the same here and insert the waterfall chart, okay, Zebra BI will automatically insert two charts, right? Because it has detected that you have two columns. One is previous year, one is actual, and now you have two charts, and these two charts are also scaled. Okay, so for example, this row here, this bar, is a little bit shorter than this one, right? It's not you know, extend it to the maximum space available, but it's a little bit shorter, so we do understand that net revenue in this year is a little bit bigger than last year. Of course, if you now want to show the variance, also display the variance, then you can use the plus minus chart, for example. Okay, this is now, I'll just put it separately at the moment. So now this is my variance from previous year. And now this chart is also a little bit special, right? Because it's not just red and green. Okay, so if, for example, I would just select previous year and actual values and calculate the variance between these numbers, let's just try to do this. Okay, I get the regular plus minus chart. I'll put it here. Okay, but now the problem is, maybe like this. Okay, but now problem is that, for example, this bar here represents the costs, and since this is raw material costs, okay, so my costs of raw material in this year are higher than previous year. So we have growth. My costs are growing. That's why they are displayed on the right side, which is correct, and it's plus 29. So the variance is plus 29, plus 29,000 euros or something. But of course, this is not good because these are costs. That's why this chart is correct, and this one is not correct. Okay, let me just delete this. So as you see, if you select everything and create a plus minus chart in Zebra BI like this, Zebra BI will use the same definition, okay? Same definition specified in this category class column. So you will invert, you will be able to invert negative KPIs or the KPIs with negative contribution to the end result. The color will be automatically inverted. Okay, so this is called the row level invert, and this is absolutely something that you need in any income statement report where you want to use charts or you want to use visualization, because simply all income statement structures, income statement elements, they always consist of you know, positive and negative KPIs. You have certain revenues, you have certain costs or other elements. So one type of element is beneficial to the operating profit, for example, and the other one is not beneficial. So you do need this function to invert a specific row, to invert a meaning in a specific row. So these are now my basic like building blocks for my report. And now we can try to actually create you know, the report, or at least a simplified, our first simplified version of this report. So as you see now, if I just insert or create a chart directly from the table, so I have just selected, I have just clicked anywhere inside the data table, so Zebra BI will actually detect where my data is, my data range. Okay, so it will actually detect that this is my data range, and that's why I get two charts with the values, and I also get the axis labels here. Okay, my axis labels are here. Now, as we have seen before in my PowerPoint presentation, we are actually mixing charts and columns to create combined table chart reports. Okay, so if you want to do that, then you just create charts from values. Okay, only in this in this case, you also need the values, but you also need this definition here. So what I'll do now is I'll just cut and paste this definition in front of my values, okay? And now I can do it in this way. I can just select my values plus my definition, and when I insert the charts now, excellent, I get two charts without the labels, because I already have labels here. I do this quite frequently because there are quite a few advantages of using labels in a separate column in a table. For example, one of them is if you're using category labels in a chart, they will always be aligned right. Okay, but here you can actually, this is a normal, Excel column, so you can align the labels right or left or however you want. You can then use custom formatting. For example, you can use bold or italics or whatever. You can use custom format for this. So that's why I actually prefer to do it like this. And now I have two charts. What I need now is, let's try to create, I'll just create a little bit more space here, and we'll try to insert the charts into this space here, okay? Okay, first of all, what I do is, now I have two charts. I will ungroup those charts. So if you open the scale options here, you can ungroup the charts. Just temporarily we'll separate the charts, and I'll move the first one here, and the second one I'll move here. Okay, and now I need the variance. So this is now my previous year, this is now my actual, and here I will try to show the actual minus previous year. Okay, so I will select this, and let's use the plus minus chart. Okay, this is the one. We'll put it here. Okay, now those charts are not scaled. So you see, if you're just using plain charts without the scaling, it's not a very good report. It's a lot of values, but you don't understand the relations between them. So that's why with Zebra BI, you just select all three charts. So this is shift click, and now you click scale. Okay, and this is now properly scaled. This is now my picture, and then with some, when you apply a little bit more, a bit more of the formatting, you can actually finish such a report. So for example, you can just copy. Now you can copy the formatting of the table. Let's just use the format painter. Let's see if this works. Okay, excellent. So you see, all Zebra BI charts are transparent. So that's why they are, you see they are, everything what is behind is actually visible, so you can nicely format all the numbers here, and then you apply some more formatting, and you're done, right? Instead of actual minus previous year, you can use the standard abbreviation, which is the delta sign. You will find it here under comment. So Zebra BI has a certain frequently used symbols. So for example, for variance, use the delta sign here, so you can use delta previous year. This is like the shortest way how to label the variance from previous year. So we prefer to keep it short. So you can do it like this, or just manually. But of course, you could also use it as a chart title. And this is basically it. Now you have actually have a little bit of redundancy here. I have the same data in a column and in a chart, so I can actually hide these columns now. Okay, these are now hidden, and what is left is my report. The report then needs like a message, the headline, right? So you need to write your message. you need to write your message here at the top. Make sure that the message is uses the biggest font on the report, and also you need to comment on this on this situation. So for example, we see here that in previous year we actually had negative operating profit, so we had a loss. Okay, so this is also one feature of a waterfall chart that is absolutely necessary in income statements. All right, it needs to be able to cross the axis. So you see, with the operating expenses, we have arrived from positive gross profit. Right, the gross profit was 61, my OPEX was 73, so this is where my costs crossed the axis into the negative side here. That's why the operating profit is minus 12. So this is also one feature of your waterfall charts, right? They need to be able to cross the axis without problems. Okay, and so now you can just explain this. So you can add some comments here. You can say, okay, I don't know, you can comment, for example, here, how come that we have achieved positive growth here, and so on, right? And then you can just select everything. This is your report now. You can save it. You can, for example, you can export it to PowerPoint. Okay, so for example, like this. Or you can actually use linked. You can actually use PowerPoint with links. So in this way, I have created another slide, but this time this one is actually linked back to my original Excel report. So this slide here will actually change if you change your data. Okay. Right, so this is the basic technique now how to construct income statements, but as you have seen, so one problem here is if you want to have a report that is designed perfectly, or at least as good as possible, you also need to be able to control the sizes. Okay, so this is, for example, PowerPoint, and you see I needed to stretch it a little bit, and I'm not really sure what exactly is the right size, because it could be a little bit smaller. And now this font size, even though here it is probably 11 or 10, it's 11, right? If you go here and you resize it, it can be smaller, right? It can be 6 points or 10 or 16 or something. So that's why we have added the page templates, so-called page templates. Okay, let me show this on our next example. Okay, this will be now the full income statement report that I have shown on my first slide at the beginning of this webinar. And so this time I'll do it slightly differently. This time we'll first choose a design of an empty page. Okay, so in ZebraBI you have certain page templates, empty page templates. They're already in ZebraBI. They ship together with ZebraBI. So here you have the display. If you see it like this, right, you can always switch to, for example, extra large icons here. So you can switch the view here, and now you can choose from those templates. And let's use this one, the last one. So this is table waterfall. So it's the template. Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, I'll just use this template now to demonstrate how it works. So now the thing is that this page size here fits exactly to PowerPoint. Okay, so if you just move your charts here, you will make sure that this page will fit exactly to your PowerPoint. Okay, but here you see there's a grouped, there are some grouped hidden columns here. So when you open this, all templates are done in this way. So you open this area here, and here here's your area where you prepare your data. And what we'll do now is we'll insert the chart. So it's the same thing like before. So we have previous year, we have actual, and here this is my category class, right? So what we'll do is first we'll insert the structure charts. These are my structure charts here, and I'll just ungroup them, break them apart, and this one will go here. This one will go here. Okay. These are my structures. Now I need the variance. So the variance from previous year. So I'll just select the same. And now again, you can use the plus minus. So you can use this one. Okay. And at the end, we will also create a chart for the relative variance. Okay, this one is interesting, very interesting, because the relative variances. Okay, this is now plus minus, so this is still now absolute variance, but it's displayed in a different type of chart. But here, if you open the chart settings, you will see that all variance charts already have this option to switch to relative variance. Okay, this is now my relative variance, so variance in percent. Okay, and let's move it here. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. You see the variance charts, the variances can jump up or down, so they're quite volatile, can be quite volatile. So we'll fix this. How will we fix it? You have a couple of options. First option is, so for example, if I make this a little bit bigger, right? You see that now we have a relative variance of 900 and more, right? If you go here, you can actually limit such outliers. Okay, so you can limit them. You can say, okay, just cut everything that is more than, for example, 75% or something like that. Okay, what you get here is, you see the value is cut, so you have an arrow here. The label is still here, so we see that it's this big variance, but the outliers are actually cut. So this is one fix that we needed to do. And the second one is, of course, scaling all three charts. And you can do it either with this plus minus chart, or if you select, like I mentioned, the other option would be to now select the variance waterfall chart. Okay, this would look like this. Okay, so it's again the waterfall chart, but as you see, Zebra BI has already now calculated the variance. Okay, because this is the variance chart, it has automatically calculated the variance. Okay, so it's, for example, it's plus 183. It's already, variance is already calculated, so you only need to put it here, insert it here, and now again take care of the scaling. So I will select all those three charts, and render them on the same scale. I just click scale, and this is now my correct picture. Now I have a little bit more space here, so I can extend this chart, and this is now a better report. Okay, you can also, maybe in some cases, you might want to move the charts a little bit to the left and right. So what you can do is you can just select the chart and then start moving it with the mouse, but it will jump up and down. But as you move the chart, you can just press Shift button. If you press Shift and then move it, then it will stay aligned in the row. So you can just move it a little bit like this. Okay, and now this report again you can export to PowerPoint. Okay, and when you do that, you will see that your the report fits exactly the size of the PowerPoint. Okay, so this is how you arrive at income statements, and this is how you can use the page templates here in Zebra BI. Okay, let me just quickly show you the okay, we want to update this. Okay, so this is the last template that I have shown, right? So the one with, you know, multiple legal entities and so on. So if you want to create something like this, it takes a little bit more work, of course, but it can actually be done in you know, in maybe in 10-15 minutes or something if you use the templates. So for example, I have some data here, but this time I'll just show you the okay, so this time I used another template. So I just used this one, the completely empty blank template for PowerPoint. So this is my template, and here I have my data, and now I have 5 like business units here, and for each business unit I have actual and budget, actual and budget, actual, budget, and so on, right? And now I have all those. I will select all these business units together with the definition, with the column class definition, because I have net sales and then certain operating profit and so on. So the same column class just at the beginning, but then I have 5 business units. So you just stack your data, you know, just put it in one table, and if you now insert, for example, this chart, the plus minus chart, you see you get the variances for all for all business units. Much the same way you can get more waterfall charts. Okay, so now I get, you see, now I get my 5 charts. These are only charts, okay? The P&L statements, the structure, without the labels, right? So what you would do is you would probably you can add the labels like this. So you see something like this, yeah, net result. Okay, now you have the charts. Okay, so that you can actually now, for example, now you can design, for example, now you can design something like, let's make boxes. Okay, this is one box. Actually, we'll do it, we'll use a slightly lighter color. Okay, so this is my first box for example, for Germany. I press F4 and F4. Okay, so now I'm designing my, okay, here we'll have the another set of labels here. Taxes, one more. Okay. I could just copy this. So it was 1-2 rows above this. Okay, this is it. And now you just move the charts inside. So first of all, the waterfall charts. Let me ungroup the charts first. Okay, now I'll move those charts. Okay, I'll move the waterfall chart here. The second one here. Oh, sorry, so we also have the country names and so on, so I better do it one row above. Okay, let me try again. So like this: Germany, France, UK. Of course, this is now quite a complicated report. right? So it does take a little bit of time and design, but if you think about it, it has 10 charts, right? It has 5 waterfall charts. Now again, I also moved this 5 charts. Only this time I could actually use charts without the title. Okay, so if you don't need the title, you just select the data without the title. So just to get the variances, okay, like this. And now you move again those charts, and you get the picture. Okay, we're running a little bit out of time, but just to give you an idea, okay, here the variance for Germany, this is the second one, this is France, and so on and so on. So then you put all of them, and now you select all the charts. Okay, shift click, shift click, shift click, create all of them again, also the other ones, and then click scale, and now I should get a better picture, right? Okay, so you get it here, and then the variance charts, let's move them like here again. Okay, now I should have added also the other 3, but this is then your final report, and you can use in this case you could use this area here for additional comments and so on. And when you export this to PowerPoint, again, this should be like, it should occupy the PowerPoint slide like this, and now you see your presentation, your reports are done, and you can use this one for your company, or this one for to display the group of business units or legal entities and so on. Okay, so this is it's exactly 1 hour, so my presentation is finished now, and with that I would like to hand over the word to you. Before we do that, if you don't have Zebra BI yet, or if you haven't tried it, you can go to our website, zebra.bi. There's a free trial, 30-day free trial. It's completely free, so you can use it. You can use our resources at our support center. So there's a lot of videos and articles and deeper explanations. So you can make sure you check the support center. You can also follow us on social for latest news. Okay, please, if you have any questions, this is now the time. I will try to answer your questions. If you have any questions, please let me know. There's a questions box. You should see the questions box, and just type your question, please. I will try to answer as much as I can. Okay, great. Well, if there are no questions, okay. Thank you for thank you for your good feedback. Okay. Sorry, there we have a last minute question. Let me handle this one. So, having trouble with large tables, they break up in 2 rows. Could you give me a little bit more detailed explanation of this? So, where do you experience this? Do you mean a table if it occupies 2 pages, or if you have if you have a very wide term here, like 3 words or 4 words, which is usually a problem in P&L statements, right? Then it's hard to get the whole description into a column, into this column width, and then the best practice would be to abbreviate your terms, right? So make sure that you're using efficient short reporting terms. Okay, Usually the official, accounting name would be something very large, very wide, and you need to shorten it. So make sure you use short terms for everything. That's the best strategy to fit things. Okay, yeah, the labels. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Yeah, Žilko is asking about the labels. Okay, your labels in Excel, you might have a problem with labels, but this is limited to Excel 2000 and 2010. Okay, so this is not an issue in 2013. But for example, if you have a normal, if you have labels like this, right, something like this. So very, something like this, and then you insert just any normal, any Excel chart, when you will just try to do this. I cannot reproduce this now because this is now Excel 2013, but if you have labels here and then you make this chart very, okay, I can actually reproduce this. So see, this is standard Excel behavior. Okay, the labels, if the chart is small, then the labels get wrapped. Okay, so now I'll press Control 1. Okay, or the alternative is select Format Data Labels, and now you will see that here you will have the option under Text Options. Select the text box. You can deselect the wrapping. Okay, unfortunately this only works from Excel 2013 onwards. Okay, so all Zebra BI charts already do not wrap labels. Okay, so if you have Excel 2013, you will not have any problem. You can make for example a Zebra BI chart very small, and you will still see the labels. They will not wrap like this one, right? If you're using 2010, Excel 2010, then the only solution for this is, let me put this back to Excel's default, right? So the labels are wrapped. Then the only solution is to make the chart area wide, okay, and then select the plot area, and now reduce the plot area back to your space. Okay, this is a little trick, a little workaround how to, get around the wrapping of labels. So just make the chart area wide and plot area narrow. Okay, let's try to what happens to the Excel file and the graph if we send the file to someone that doesn't have Zebra BI? If you send the original file, like for example, if you just send this original file together with all the data and charts and so on, they will be able to open the report. They will see the charts at first. It a little bit depends on the version of Excel, but they will not be able to update the charts because Zebra BI charts, as you have seen, they contain a lot of calculations, like they can calculate variances, cumulations, and other stuff, and so the person that reads this report needs this calculation engine, as we call it. So what we usually recommend and what usually our users use is they link the reports to PowerPoint, or they use PDF export, and this is for static reporting. Then you have another option. You can use Zebra BI viewers. Okay, if you're interested. There's a viewer which is which does not have all the design options and so on, but it enables people to see dynamic reports. Okay, in this way, if people are using Zebra BI viewers, you can actually insert, for example, Excel slicers or other interactive elements like pivot tables and so on, and people will be able to actually interact with the report or change data, make some simulations or something like that. So you can use Zebra BI viewers, or then the third option would be, for example, you could use SharePoint and Zebra BI for SharePoint. Okay, so in this way, the people can see dynamic reports on the internet, and they can actually access them with web browsers. So these are the basic options. But if you go to our support site, you will also find some explanations what are other options to do that. Okay, our time is running up, and thank you very much for your attention, and see you in our next webinar. Bye.